Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Come closer, friends. Sit near the fire and let its glow push back the edge of the woods. Tonight, the air grows heavy, the kind that clings to your skin and makes the trees lean close as if they're listening. We aren't traveling to the windswept deserts or to old castles of Europe or even the haunted streets of forgotten cities. Tonight, we stay here, in America, where the Blue Ridge Mountains rise like the bones of the earth, deep and brooding, veined with streams and cloaked in ancient forests. And on one mountain in particular, Brown Mountain in North Carolina, there are lights. Strange floating lights that drift through the night air. Some say they're lanterns, others say they're fireballs, ghostly orbs the size of a man's head. They dance, they rise, they vanish. They've been seen for centuries, by hunters, soldiers, tourists, scientists, and locals alike. They're called the Brown Mountain Lights, and their mystery is as old as the hills themselves. Long before the wagon wheels carved ruts through the wilderness, long before rifles echoed in the valleys, the Cherokee and Catawba tribes told stories of the lights. For them, the lights were not curiosities, they were warnings. One tale tells of a great battle fought on the mountain slopes, so bloody that the streams ran red. When night fell, the women of the fallen warriors crept through the dark, carrying pine torches, searching for their husbands and sons. They searched, and they searched, but they never returned home. Their grief chained them to the mountains. Their torches, legends say, can still be seen today, glowing through the trees, forever wandering the battlefield. Another story tells of a star spirit, a celestial being that walked the earth when the balance between worlds grew thin. This spirit, glowing softly, rising from the soil like a spark, drifting between trees, and then sinking back into the ground. The people said it was a sign, an omen that change was coming, or that death lingered nearby. Whether omen or soul, the tribes avoided the lights. To watch too closely, they believed, was to draw the spirit's attention, and once it noticed you, it may never let you go. When European settlers came in the 1700s, they too saw the lights, but unlike the Cherokee and Catawba, they didn't see omens. They saw stories of murder, revenge, and restless wanderings. One of the most enduring tales is that of the murdered woman. Some say she was a young bride, newly married and full of joy. Others claim she was simply traveling alone through the mountain passes. One night she was attacked, some say by thieves, some say by her own jealous husband. Her body was left hidden among the rocks and trees. Her husband, stricken with grief, or perhaps guilt, took a lantern and searched for her every night. Locals would see his light moving slowly across the mountain slopes, bobbing through trees, sometimes joined by a second, fainter glow. But the husband never returned. To this day, they say the lights are his lantern and her ghost, forever entwined, forever searching for one another among the ridges of the Brown Mountain. The Civil War scarred nearly every corner of America, and the Blue Ridge Mountains were no exception. Men fought and died in these valleys. Some were buried hastily in shallow graves, some left where they fell. At night, survivors claimed to see lanterns weaving through the smoke and mist, soldiers searching for their lost comrades. Even today, hunters and hikers report seeing columns of lights, sometimes in lines like a marching patrol, other times scattering as if ambushed. The orbs drift and sway, moving with a rhythm that feels too deliberate, too human to be mere tricks of the eye. It is said that some of these lights are still soldiers marching, still guarding the mountain passes, never realizing the war is long over. By the early 1900s, the Brown Mountain Lights were famous enough to draw outside attention. In 1913, the U.S. Geological Survey sent investigators. They concluded the lights were nothing more than train headlights from the valley below, refracted through layers of mist and atmosphere. The locals pushed back. They insisted the lights had been seen long before the trains cut across the mountains. And besides, train headlights don't float above ridges, split into several orbs, or vanish without a trace. In the 1920s, another investigation blamed automobile headlights. But again, the explanation didn't satisfy those who had seen the lights deep in the wilderness, far from any road. Other theories surfaced: swamp gas, ball lightning, reflections from the Catawba River. Each theory neat, tidy, and unsatisfying. Because the people who had seen the lights, rarely seen them, swore there was nothing natural about what drifted above the Brown Mountain. By the mid-20th century, Brown Mountain became a destination. Skeptics came with notebooks, scientists with instruments, and believers with cameras. From the Brown Mountain Overlook, the Blue Ridge Parkway, and the eerie cliffs of Wiseman's View, countless pairs of eyes stared into the dark, and many of them walked away changed. Some saw nothing, only endless forest. Others saw faint flickers like candle flames. But a lucky few saw the true phenomenon, glowing balls of light, basketball-sized, hovering above the treetops. Some red, some white, some tinged with a pale blue. Witnesses describe them rising from the valley floor, floating slowly upward and pausing, as if aware they're being watched, before darting away at an impossible speed. They're said to split apart and then rejoin, to flicker like lanterns swaying in a breeze, or to glide smoothly like fireflies made of lightning. And every so often, someone decides to follow them. One story tells of a hunter who spotted a bright orb hovering above the trail ahead. He swore he'd follow it and prove what it was. His companions watched his lantern disappear into the trees. Hours passed. The light never came back, nor did the hunter. Search parties found nothing. Another man claimed he followed the light down a winding path until he tripped and struck his head. When he awoke, the light was gone, and so were 6 hours of his memory. Hikers speak of lights that lead them astray, drawing them off marked trails and deeper into the forest. Some laugh it off. Others just never return at all. The Brown Mountain Lights are not merely to be watched. They tempt and they lure, and those who chase them rarely like what they find. Today, the Brown Mountain Lights are one of North Carolina's greatest unsolved mysteries. Tourists come by the thousands, hoping for a glimpse. Skeptics still argue for natural causes, pointing to mirages, to gases, to distant lights bending through the air. Locals, however, especially those whose families have lived here for generations, still whisper the older stories. Grieving Cherokee women, star spirits, murdered wives, and lost soldiers. And perhaps the most unsettling detail is this: the sightings still continue. In the age of satellites and smartphones, when the world should have no secrets left at all, the Brown Mountain Lights still appear just as they always have. No wires, no tricks, no easy answers. They hover on the edge of explanation, daring you to believe. So what are they? Are they science in disguise? A natural phenomenon waiting for the right formula to unravel it? Or are they the echoes of sorrow, the restless dead still wandering their eternal battlefield? When you stand at Wiseman's View, high above the Linville Gorge, you see one of these orbs rise from the dark valley floor, glowing brighter than any lantern and moving as if alive. You'll understand why the Brown Mountain Lights refuse to be caged by simple answers. Maybe they're both. Maybe they're something else entirely. But one thing is certain: they've been here for centuries, and they're not leaving. And so, friends, the mystery of the Brown Mountain Lights lingers on, glowing faintly against the dark ridges of the Blue Ridge Mountains, just as it has for centuries. Maybe they're spirits still searching for what was lost. Or maybe they're the mountain's way of reminding us that not everything in this world can be easily explained away. As we leave you here beneath these haunted hills, remember, the legends of our weird world are boundless. If you've enjoyed these stories, please share, like, and subscribe to our channel for more content. Your support enables us to keep these stories alive. Until next time, stay curious. If you ever find yourself watching the night over Brown Mountain, keep your eyes on the light, but your feet on the path.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.